Hello, Jeff Sawyers with J&S Solutions. This is the How to Hire video, part 11 with situational questions. And these situational questions right here are on problem solving. So the first part of it, we're going to look at problem solving between individuals and people, which can be a huge asset to you if you've got somebody that can handle themselves when problems arise between them, a co-worker, an employee, a boss, a subordinate, whatever. So let's start with those type of questions first. Describe the most difficult working relationship you've had with an individual. What specific actions did you take to improve the relationship, and what was the outcome? Give me an example of a situation where you had difficulties with a team member. What, if anything, did you do to resolve the difficulties? Have you ever been caught unaware of a problem or an obstacle that you have not foreseen, and what happened? Tell me about a time when you did something completely different from the plan and or assignment, why, and what happened, and what was the outcome? What are some problems you have been faced with, such as being between business development project leaders, between departments and another, between you and your peers? How did you recognize, and what were they? What was the last time something came up in a meeting that was not covered in the plan? What did you do, and what was the results of your judgment? Describe a situation where you had conflict with another individual, and how did you deal with it, and what was the outcome, and how do you feel about it? Describe a time when you were faced with problems or stress when testing your coping skills, and what did you do? That's a great question to ask, because you can always have to cope with situations in the business world. That's just the way it is. It's the way it works. We all have to do that. Describe a time when you were facilitated a creative solution to a problem between two employees. Give an example of a problem in which you faced on any job and that you had to tell how you went about solving it. Give an example of when you went to a source to address a conflict. Do you feel trust levels were improved as a result? Problems occur in almost all work relationships. Describe a time when you had to cope with resentment or hostility of a subordinate or co-worker. Some problems require developing a unique approach. Tell about a time when you were able to develop a different problem-solving approach. Sometimes the only way to resolve a defense or conflict is through negotiation and compromise. Tell me about a time when you were able to resolve a difficult situation by finding some common ground between two people. Sometimes when we remain calm on the outside, when we're really upset on the inside. Give me an example of when this has happened to you and the situation it was involved in. Tell me about a time in a situation where you were separate from the person being issued and were working to resolve issues. As we all know, that problem solving is a huge part in the business world. We need people that can solve these problems, especially if they're dealing with your customers. You want to kind of get in their head and find out how they're thinking. Some of these questions are good to ask for that. Once again, I would only write down, out of all the categories, one or two questions out of each category. If their job dealt with problem solving, I may put 3 or 4 of them in there to dig deep into this. Don't forget your what else and tell me more questions added to their answers. Don't be afraid to ask questions based upon the answers they give you. Once again, this type of stuff takes practice. Practice at it and work at it. And you will get so much better in interviewing, and you will dig down and find more depth to the person and find out whether or not you're creating a great hire or not. And that's the most important thing. That's what you're striving for by taking this course. So once again, if you have any questions, you can always leave them in the comments below, or you can email me at jssolutions@gmail.com. Thank you.